Hey, what's up? This is Sean. I already painted this, or I drew it in pencil, and I hit it with the Micron 03 all over, and then I erased it down the pencil again. The Micron's waterproof, so now I'm gonna go in with watercolor. I sprayed my watercolor palette down. Just got some nice new watercolor paints, so I'm excited. I've only used them a handful of times. I got Winsor Newton Professional with a gift card from Christmas and a coupon, and I finally was able to get it to where I was able to afford that. So I got a nice new set of real bright colors. You can see how bright some of them end up. So anyway, I'm gonna go in on the eyes here. The eyes are a little wonky right now, but the photo is that way. And you know, some dogs just have wonky eyes. But I don't think that's true in this case. I think it's just a trick of the camera, a trick of the angle. So I'm gonna go in with some real bright. So I just took my water brush pen, and I went with a little of this light brown and a little bit of this sunset orange, or sunset yellow, and some orange that I already had mixed up on my palette here. That's what's nice about watercolor, is even like these little specks you can reactivate and reuse. So if you like that color, you can pick it back up and use it again. So I go in. It'll look bright and weird right now, but it'll start coming together. There we go. That already solved the eye situation significantly. That mark wasn't the best, but you know, you keep trucking. So this is a blonde. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the pink of the ears. Oh, see, I messed that up. That's why you always have a napkin to wipe off your last color. Nah, instead of jumping around, what am I doing? I'll stay back, grab some brighter colors, a little bit of this burnt sienna, and the raw umber, dark brown. I'm just gonna hit the corners. Just try to kind of blend it in. Didn't work the best, but still has pretty dark eyes anyway, so in the end, probably end up with pretty dark eyes. We'll see. I'll bless the orange back into this one. There we go, that helped. So there's a strong, in the picture, there's a strong white light, and then there's like the yellowish light from the house coming from this direction. So anyway, I'm trying to see if I can keep to that light system from the photo, because it's like the dog is close to the window maybe. So now I'm grabbing a little brownish blonde from previous. It's probably looks like it's a mix of these two browns. I'm just gonna lay it in. Oh, ooh, that came in dark, but it'll be okay. I'll spread it around. Just gonna lay it in all in this area. And spread it around. And it'll dry a lot calmer. It looks scary right now, but it'll come together. You can see I'm just bringing in this kind of calm. You might not even be able to see that calm color that I just did there at the end, but this dog, yeah, that's right. So that actually is white down there, so. Alright. Kind of blasting in some areas that look really blonde in the photos. Side of the face. It's pretty. I'm coming in darker. That tan brown. Just going in on the edges. Right underneath the eye. Side of the eye. Sometimes while it's just still on, while the remnants are still on my brush, I'll hit another area because I know it's only lightly pigmenting, so I might as well hit another area that I know. Oh, see, I went off. You gotta be careful about that. But yeah, when another area that you know needs some of that pigment, but you know it doesn't. You know it does need a lot. So anyway, when there's just remnants on your brush, you can usually do that. Ooh, hopefully I didn't move it too much. Looks like somewhere in there. Okay, I'm gonna do the tail. Bring that in. So you can, with this, you can kind of even color outside the lines into the other part. See, I'm going into this and I'm pulling some of the parts of this excess wetness. I'm pulling it into here. And I'm even accidentally taking my brush past and going in just so I make sure that every little piece of this little juncture gets hit. So it's lucky when they're the same color right next to each other like that. So there you go. It's already got a blonde tail. It's already much blonder than it was when I started. Now, keep going, keep going. Okay, so make sure it's still recording. It is. Sweet. So now I'm gonna do the edge of the ear because I remember. Well, actually, not remember. I'm looking at the photo, reference photo on my iPad over here to my right side. And I have my paints here, I have my watercolor pencils, I have my gouache up here. So I'm all set up. There we go. Let's see if this works. Boom. Right along the edge. Sorry if the bugs are too loud. I got the window open. Ventilation. Not really for ventilation, just for air, I guess. Nice night out. Hopefully they're comforting instead of overwhelming. Ooh, I went outside the lines hard there, didn't I? At this stage, you can kind of clean it up a little bit with a paper towel. And then if not, I'll just put a few little fuzz lines up there. It must be like the fuzz is going up. But yeah, that was a little mistake, but I can correct it in the long run. Yeah, we gotta be careful because this side is a different light source. But no, I think it's okay. It still has an underlying blondness to it. Just gonna go ahead and do the light blonde in this whole area. Just so it all blends together. Don't want it to look like separate parts. That's one thing beginner artists mess up a lot is they make the hand as a part and the head as a part, and you know what I mean? It's all like these separate parts separated by harsh lines, which I still struggle with a little bit myself, but you gotta fight that, and you gotta try to differentiate parts of the body in different ways, just with fur patterns and with shading and the way the line work flows. Like, I think you can see that this is on top of this, I think, but that's also with shading, so who knows. So it doesn't look like I'm doing much, but I'm just kind of broad strokesly, that's not a word, but with broad strokes, filling in the whole area with a light blondness. So that, never forget about the middle of the little hole there. That's an easy one to forget. The middle of the gap in between that coupling, whatever they're called. O-ring, maybe? No, I don't know if that's what's called. Alright. Collar clip. No? Who knows? Alright. So, that's solid. Oh, some weird red sneaking in here. I think that might just be part of the paper, but who knows? Well, I can keep going. I thought I might wait, but no. What I'll do is I'll hit this side hard with a shadow. Not with a shadow, but this side has a bold yellowish light kind of coming in. So I want to try to keep that. And then this whitish light coming in from here, you know? I'm trying to keep this pale. But yet the inside of that leg would still be, whatever you want to call it, yellowed or shadowed. Have that yellowish light from the inside of the house hitting it. And then this area is all pale white fur, so I don't want to get that too dark. I'm worried, but I can bring it back up with some white pencil. So, the eyes look crazy right now. I could use a fixing. So I'll go in with even darker colors. Maybe even, no, I think that's good. The same to get a kind of a, what do you call it, dark brick red, I would say, brownish brick red. Maybe add a little bit, oh, no. Yeah, I think it helped. All right, here we go. At all. You know what it needs is some gouache, but let's do it. Why not? Hopefully that'll dry quickly. So I'll take a little bit of this weird pale color, a little bit of this really like brick red brown color. There we go. That's a good solid color. And gouache goes on top of anything, kind of like not on top of anything, but you know, it's a little bit closer to a Posca pen in that way, where it has a lot heavier coverage. See, oh yeah, boom. The whole thing is blasted to a color, see? Okay, so that's gouache. This is my, what do you actually call that? Well, actually, I don't know if that is gouache. It's a, Gansai Tambi. It's a Japanese watercolor, but it's a lot more opaque, so I almost treat it how I would gouache. As you just saw, I basically called it gouache. Here we go. Now we're gonna do the nose because I just don't want to forget it. So I'm grabbing some like Payne's gray plus this really dark bluish. There we go. That feels close. Maybe even a little bit of purpley. We'll see. All right. I'm just gonna blast it in over the whole nose, except for the very top because that has a little bit of light. Well, I guess it's not the top, that'd be the side, but you're right, it's the side. So I'll try to blast this like that. This is kind of unusual because this is a side light, side light, so I gotta be careful about that. I almost just messed it up with my own, even with my wording. But no, you're right. I'm right, I mean. It's coming from this way. Be careful. Okay. So, my reference image turned off. Okay, I see what's happening now. I gotta do a little 5 o'clock shadow kind of a thing. Wish it was bluer. Which one is that one? Here, now I'm off book. I really want that part to be full. So we'll see what happens. Keep that hold down to the blue a little bit. No, it doesn't look like it did. How do I get that a little bit more blue? Maybe this one. That is black almost. Not going well. We'll see what happens. Take a little bit of that blue and I'll drop it in there. There we go, that basically did it. Sometimes you go in and you tap it with a napkin and it almost takes it back to nothing. And that's, in this case, what I want. I want a kind of a very ghosted blue. I don't want intense blue on there anywhere. Fail. Okay, so now I will take this purple, two purple colors, purple and pink. There we go, get it kind of bright. That's the wrong color. Maybe with stages. Take a little dark purple and add it, just drop it in there. Who knows? Okay, well, dark the very darkest part of this. Okay. Don't want to forget there's a dark part of this fur right here. More blonde up top. Yep. Hopefully that doesn't dry too orange red there, but we'll see. Spread it around a little. There we go. That's one thing that's nice is you can legit pick, with this water brush pen, is you can pick up the paint that's already in the painting sometimes a little bit. So there's a little big blonde fluff here. Try to capture even this a little bit. Ooh, see, there's a mistake, but I cleaned it up. Boom. See what I did there? One of the keen eye people might notice that I swiped through the whole purple like a dummy, and then I quickly swooped up all that purple and just moved it around to where it didn't stick in one place. And that's what's nice. You can keep the pigment moving a little bit sometimes. Okay, so now I wish I could figure out this other light source. this needs to be like, makes no sense for it to be white. I think it's gonna help to come in with the watercolor pencils. That's what needs to happen. So this one, especially back here, is basically like white almost. Because the light's hitting us so hard. In the reference photo, it's just blasting out. And then, same with this is all just blazing white. Down in here. So this is what's nice about these watercolor pencils. And then the second, once I'm done, I'll spray it with water. And it removes the wax binder and the pigment settles down into the painting. And it's watercolor. Watercolor pigment, watercolor paint. So this is an ink and watercolor painting. Just trying to provide the shape of the fur with some of the brush strokes of the pencil, even though a lot of them will be lost in the wind. Some of them will stay, and that ghost image will be enough to explain to the eye the direction of the fur. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just blasting areas I know are getting nuked with white light, so that I at least have that pigment in there. And I can always go on top of it or around, you know, put stuff near it to contrast it. But I know for a fact that this area has this shape hair going this direction, white. So that's what's very helpful if you can get individual furs sometimes. Okay, let's see. I'm just gonna blast that. No, I shouldn't have. That area should be blonde. So in this case, you know, you could erase it, which I probably will. Here we go. That's what's nice about the colored pencils. Oh, that didn't go well though. Oh, that went horribly. Don't tell anybody about that one. It was still wet. It just went horribly wrong, and I ripped up a whole piece of paper. That was disastrous. Oh, alas. One thing I learned from some other artist is, I don't remember, you know, online, is that when you get a mistake, if you come across a mistake like that, it's all pink and stuff, is you just like wait, let it dry, let it really dry, and then you just act like it's not there. And then as it's going, you'll either cover it up, or at the very end, you know, specifically, you might have to do something to cover it up. But if you continue painting like it's not there, and then, you know, a lot of times it'll just go away on its own. Like in a little while, I'm gonna put a little bit more white up there, so it'll probably go away. And then once I come back in through with a few brush strokes of ink pen, it'll, you know, break up the weird little rough pattern that is right there, and a little damage to the paper. I don't think the person will mind. So anyway, it was a mistake, and you move on. And that's my little story time for that. The thing is, it needs to dry. That's exactly what I can tell you what's happening right now. Is that I'm pushing this because I'm on video. And I'm like, I gotta get this done. I'm on video. So I'm pushing back beyond my standard speed. I'm not waiting for things to dry, I'm walking away, I'm working on something else, which is what I usually do. So all that is just something I'm gonna have to deal with. That's no big deal at all. Oh, I see that this is white. Boom. This is kind of bluish. Oh yeah, I need this. I bet you this will help a lot. So I start hitting things with this light blue. You notice I have this. If you get a really light pale blue and a pale yellow, when you get to the highlight, you know, in a blue area, this will be your brightest, and when you get to the highlight in yellow, then this will be your brightest. You act like this is white, and it'll really boost things if you do it. If you can do it right, it's definitely a good trick. It's just hard to. It's not working right now because this is all dry, and anyway, it's just not working. But it does work. Like that kind of worked. Who knows? Alright. Let's go back to the pale blue, because that was working. Oh, the whole picture's on. Hopefully didn't disturb your view too much. So this is all kind of a darkish color in the photo. I don't know if I'll do the dark color for the floorboards or not. Not really feeling it, just because I think it'll throw things off. Not for laziness, but for like, I think the weird angles. I don't know. I might just do. I gotta think about what I'm doing for the floorboards. So the whole side of her face is pretty pale. I'm trying to get back to that. But it's just really right there, weirdly. This is all filled with white fur. This is white fur. There's this weird, like, bright line that goes like that. Well, maybe it's just the ridge line or whatever you want to call that. And then she has these white eyebrows that go up both sides. She's got this kind of paleness to her cheek on that side too. Sometimes you blend it in with your finger to make it not as intense. But I see I still had some charcoal there, which just blend in with it, but shan't matter in the end. Yeah, this is still wet. That's not good at all. Blasted away. Something like this. here. Almost halfway up this blasted white. Okay. Now we're cooking. So there's this little area right under her chin. Also gets, I don't know how I'm gonna get that to not be all one thing. Who knows? And this is all white fur, but it's pale, so I might have to do something to pale this out a little because it's not that bright. This should all be white. Oh, still wet. Not good. Man, I should take a break. I don't know why. I'm still going. Can't help it. When you get in the zone, sometimes you don't want to take a break, which is a hazard sometimes with certain kinds of mediums, because sometimes you need to take breaks. So patience is a virtue and all that. See this, even though it looks like I'm adding some like a bright color or something, I'm adding, you know, kind of wet, white pale blue, and in the end it'll all blend to where this will just look like it's pale or whatever. It won't look like it's blue. If that makes any sense. Add it into there. Try to dumb that down a little bit to be not so intense. And then I'm gonna find my yellow. What was that? Floor. Oh, there's a whole second floor too. I always forget. There it is. This kind of pale yellow. Just gonna blast some on this side. I really like the double light system. Like blasting with two. That was bad. That part was bad, but it is what it is. So I'll come back through a few times. And see, this is the white on this side. Is this kind of blonde white? This right here. Remember, this is specifically not white. Some on this. Now I'm going off book, but this looks like this color would fit at a few other places, so I'm just going. It is good to have it in more than one place. You don't want, unless it's like this, where specifically that's only in one place of the photo. Right? You don't want to use like one hair color, in just one tiny little area, you know, like most creatures have it all kind of all over, you know, like a lot more splotchy or whatever you want to call it, a lot more. Yeah, this almost all. Oh yeah, but it's really not that color. It's more like this color. This kind of blondie. There we go. That is gorgeous. This is why it pays to have the nice watercolor pencils too, man. Look at that. Boom. That is exactly Blond German Shepard color. Boom. Look at that. It's doing wonders. Be careful not to fall in the trap of just doing it everywhere. Looks good in one place. Ooh, I'm gonna set that down. Before I forget, I'm gonna do this. Put down. It's kind of almost reddish because not like, you can't see the pink, so it's basically a dark reddish brown almost in the photo. So I'm just gonna hit it with this real deep color. It has depth to it. And then I'm gonna go to the top and I'm gonna hit that with pink. Just to kind of make it feel more fleshy. I'm going like next to no pressure here at the top. To just like lightly hit some places with some pink. So you can kind of see some skin showing through, or whatever you want to call it. I even like to put just a little tiny bit of pink in there somewhere, so you can remember that they got skin. But I'll look at the reference photo and see. She doesn't really have that, so oh, it's probably dumb. But I'll go back over it with some purples and things, and darken it up, and it won't be a big deal. In fact, I might as well do that now. I'm gonna actually hit it with this weird gray that I got. Gunmetal gray. Let's see what that does. Oh yeah, that's exactly what it needs. She's got this kind of raccoon thing. There's a lot of dogs too. See, and you hit that over that pink, and it just gives that a very little bit of fleshiness to it, which I think works really nicely. But you can tell me in the comments if you feel otherwise. Okay, so I'm close to letting it sit and dry for a minute. I do wish I could put a little bit more into the eyes. Maybe this really dark color. Just kind of a burnt umber. Yeah, I think that out because she definitely doesn't have cartoon bright colored eyes. Really normal colored eyes. Okay. I feel like just for my own brain. Oh, I know. Should do that. That's right. So here's one of my ultimate tricks. Take a real bright blue. Ooh, this one's light blue. It's nice. And this time I'm gonna put it all the way to the side. Didn't really work out, but it'll work out better here in a second. There we go. Boom. Blast it with the blue. Seems weird. Dogs don't have blue eyes. Animals don't have blue eyes usually. And then I take my white Posca pen, shake it up. I got this little one, 0.7 meters. Bullet-shaped tip. And the dibbity dab right there on top of the blue. Not on top, but to the side of the blue, but also on top of the blue. And never just a circle too. Always in a regular shape like that, because usually that highlight isn't an exact circle. Okay, I'm gonna mess this a little bit up. Okay, there we go. Let me dab this real bright white. I think I got it now. And I'll go ahead and blast some of this with this white light. Sometimes you gotta use bright white, ink, and it goes over almost anything, and it really gets in the cracks in it. Like this, look what it just did. It just did those nails like nothing. 10 seconds. Whereas I would have had to dab my brush so many times. This is why I like multimedia, you know, mixed media, because then you have access to all the tools. You know, in this case, I'm using white ink, as well as watercolor, as well as black ink. As well as gouache, if I, or at least Gansai Tambi, whatever that's, Japanese watercolor. So, but look at that. In like 20 seconds flat, I just did those nails, and they already look way better. I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'm gonna hit those pupils.